Hi everybody, happy Sunday. We split up, took separate vacations, and discovered whole new worlds. We'll tell you why we needed to do that in this week's video.
We're Chris and Steve, an early retired couple who sold everything to travel the world full time. We share our nomad life, hikes, and vegan eats. Grab our book, 2 Carry-Ons and a Plan on Amazon, and follow us on social. Subscribe to catch our video every Sunday.
Where are we?
We are in Chiang Mai, Thailand, a fabulous city here in northern Thailand, and really enjoying it. And I'm really excited to tell you about why we split up, but we're back together again. So why don't you kick it off and tell them
where
why.
we were. Last we chatted. I think last week you got to see a little bit about medical insurance, but before that we were in Malaysia, and we had just finished a trip in Borneo, and from there Steve and I split up. He stayed in Borneo, and we're going to tell you all what he did, and I went to northern Thailand, to Chiang Mai, to do my separate vacation. So we split up, went on separate flights and so on, and then came back together a week later in Chiang Mai. So now we're going to catch you up on why we needed separate vacations. So we've been traveling almost 2 years. We've been together 24/7. We love each other dearly. We don't have any problems in our relationship, or at least ones we're going to share with you. And we didn't need to get away from each other because we don't like each other. We wanted to get away from each other because we love each other very much. And we felt that taking some separate vacations and some time alone might be an interesting experience for both of us. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, it certainly was. I go beyond saying it was an interesting experience. First of all, it was a challenge just to think about that. We're very much in tune with each other. We're great working as a team. We have our strengths and our weaknesses, and we work together very well. So this was different. This was, say, an opportunity to maybe develop some of those weaknesses, to be doing some things completely separately, from the planning and logistics to the travel, and to finding food, and all of the different things that you do and the decisions that you make as a team. We had to do those individually. So to say maybe it was a little bit scary, maybe it was a little bit like, gee, I don't know how this is going to go. But then to work through those things and work through those issues, I think was a good thing for me, and I think for both of us.
Yeah, for both of us. It was kind of fun to, when we have our division of labor, I guess, within our relationship, and to have to take on both sides of our divisions of labor full time made me really appreciate some of the things that Steve does really well, and made me really acknowledge some of the things I don't do really well. So it was a real learning experience just on that alone. So where did you go, and what did you do, and why?
Yeah, well, I wound up staying on the island of Borneo and going to scuba diving in Mabul Island in Sipadan. And it was really the culmination of my efforts to complete my scuba certification. I got advanced open water certification, and to dive in Sipadan, which is one of the top diving spots in the world. And yeah, I know why.
So yeah, you had quite a good time.
I did have quite a good time. And tell me about your adventure.
Yeah, so I went we kind of did the same thing, but completely different in its own way. So we each had our own private time. His was, sucking air underneath water. Me, it was sucking a lot of air at a yoga retreat. I went to a yoga and meditation retreat just out of Chiang Mai called Suan Sati, and we will put links to the places that we went down in the description. But it was a 6-day or 7-day, 6-night or 6-day, 5-night, I don't remember, absolute retreat out in the rice paddies where we did yoga and meditation. So what was your daily schedule like?
So first of all, I did this with Scuba Junkie, and that's who I did my original open water certification with. And just to give you a little bit...
Here's a link for your original one.
Yes.
Yeah.
To give you a little bit difference of the both. So the open water certification was really about safety and really understanding what you need to know to go underwater, and hand signals, and the air and breathing and pressure. The advanced open water certification, which is what I did this time with Scuba Junkie on the other side of the island, was just much more about fun and enjoying it. I've got to take some pictures and learn how to use a camera, got to go down deep. This was one of the things in the advanced course. You just go down to about 100 feet deep in the water, 30 meters deep. And that is a challenge. You work on, how do you swim against currents? How do you do wreck diving around wrecks? So there was a lot of just learning, but it was fun learning. And I was with other people who were also having fun, and they also had cameras. So that's a big thing when you're a good diver, is you want to take a lot of pictures and you want to take some videos. So I want to initially give some credit to some of the people that provided some of the footage that you're seeing here who was diving with me. First of all, Becky Clark was somebody that I met from Florida, which is awesome to find people from the states that were diving with me. And also Seth Nice from Colorado, so it was great to have somebody who was shout out to Colorado. But also some of the best footage that you're looking at is from Laura from Lithuania, and also my instructor Shannon, who is from South Africa, who helped me with the camera and helped me, through all of the advanced open water certification course. Definitely also helped me with some of the footage that you're seeing here.
So your daily schedule was 2 hikes a day, or two dives a day, right?
3 dives a day. So we start out, pretty early in the morning, do 2 dives in the morning, and each dive is about an hour long. That's about how long your air lasts, depending on how deep you're going. And I'm still not used to breathing normally, so I use air a little bit faster. But a dive typically takes about 45 minutes to an hour, and 3 dives a day. So 2 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, and this is just an amazing, incredible place. But why don't we tell them a little bit about your...
Yeah, so a very different day than you had. So they picked us up here in Chiang Mai and took us out to the rice paddies out in an hour away from Chiang Mai, and there was about 20 of us. We were from all around the world. About half of us were Americans from the U.S., and the rest were from Europe, Kuwait, Israel, all places around the world. So it was really fun to have different people from around the world. And the average age, I'd say, was probably about 32 or 33, but there were 4 or 5 people that were over 50 and 3 or 4 people under 25. So it was a nice group of people. And our daily schedule they rang the gong at 5:30 in the morning. Our first yoga session was at 6, breakfast was at 8:30. Then we had a weather report where we talked about our feelings. And then 11 o'clock was a morning activity, 12:30 was lunch, 4 o'clock was another yoga activity, and then 6:30 was dinner, and then 7 o'clock was another activity. So it was a digital detox, so no phones or computers the entire week, which was fantastic. So the only pictures I have, I kind of snuck some pictures in one morning at the location. I didn't take any people pictures because I just didn't have permission to take pictures of people. And it was a real opportunity to really explore some things that were going on for me, which I'll tell you about in a minute. Also, on one day, I took a whole silence day. I didn't speak for about 29 hours. I didn't speak. So that was a real learner too. So what were some of the things that you learned about yourself on your scuba trip?
So this is just, again, a major accomplishment, I think, for myself, not only to become advanced open water certified, but really just to do it. I mean, 3 months ago, this was just a dream. This was just something that I was thinking about. Could I possibly do this? And now I just feel like incredibly accomplished. Like this is just one more, maybe the biggest adventure of my entire life, being able to
I think that you're just talking about it like it's kind of a routine thing that you accomplished. I look at you and I'm like, he's 62 years old. I mean, I don't think of you as 62, but you're 62 years old. He's an old dog learning a new trick. I think it's phenomenal that he has learned a skill. It's usually a 20-year-old somethings that are learning how to scuba dive. I think it's just phenomenal that you overcame a lot of your fears that you have with water and breathing and depth and claustrophobia and heights and all kinds of things. And you went out and achieved something that's really fantastic. And I just think that's really sexy and remarkable.
Well, thank you. But I do have to say, so the culmination of the 4 days of diving was to be able to dive with sharks. And the amazing thing in one of our last dives on the final day was to be in about 25 meters of water and to look up and see this incredible whirlwind of barracudas, thousands of barracuda swimming above us. And these are big fish. These are not small fish. They're like a meter long or more, swimming above us. And then to have a green turtle swimming by and another one chasing them because they wanted to have some fun under the water. And then to look down and see a shark laying on the bottom of the water just below us. Just that feeling of being with these great and magnificent animals. But it doesn't even, all around you, just the color of the coral and the fish. And really the most impressive thing that I saw was one of the smallest things was a blue-ringed octopus, which just blew me away to see this octopus move along the bottom of the ocean and flash, turn this bright shade of violet and then turn back into a grayish blue color just right before my eyes. It just blew me away. So some of the smaller things just were incredible.
Well, I did not have that experience. I had a cry every single time I did a squat experience. What I realized that I think a lot of nomads don't really acknowledge, and maybe, for me, I realized I had a lot of grief and a lot of pain about moving into our nomad life. A lot of you know, you've been following my track about my knee pain. There's a video about all the stuff that I had with my knee pain. And I realized not only do I have physical pain, but I was really keeping a lot of emotional pain stored in my knee. And every single time in the retreat, I would do some sort of knee bend or knee activity or knee whatever, or knee position. That pain came out in tears, not physical pain, but just the emotional tears. And I really came to grips with all of the grief that I was having from starting our nomad life. I really hadn't, our nomad life really started so quickly. We all of a sudden sold everything, packed everything, and we're gone. And even though it felt like it was a lot of time, it really was only about a month of time between a full house to a departure from our lifestyle. And I really had not grieved the ending of our careers, the ending of my parenting life as my parenting of a child that turned into empty nesting and all the empty nesting, the trauma and drama of that, and the guilt that I had of forcing my family or asking my family to get rid of all their stuff and passing my dog over to my stepmom. All of that was just a lot of stuff I really hadn't grieved or really transitioned fully. And so spending a week in silence and in yoga and in meditation at the retreat really helped me work through that grief and acknowledge that, I mean, we put up the face that we're in a happy, wonderful nomad life that's perfect, and it is, but I had some grief hiding below that I really needed to handle. So it was fantastic. We meditated as much as we did yoga, and I really got a chance to be grateful and honor and listen a lot, especially on my 29 hours of silence, to myself and other people, and really understand that life is pretty good, and I've got a lot of gratitude for you, honey, and my life, and all of you guys who are listening to us today. So a real acknowledgement for me, and a real growth of the need to feel and honor that grief. So anyway, so how much did your trip cost?
This was a little bit different because it was an all-in. It was on the Mabu island. It was a resort. All the meals were included. All the dives, the facilities, the room. There's a variety of different rooms you can get, but the one that I chose was a nice room with air conditioning, hot water, really nice facilities, and the food was great. So all in, it was a little bit over $1,000 for the, if I say 5 days.
Does that include your flights from Kuala Lumpur?
And that would include the flights, yeah.
Okay. So flights from Kuala Lumpur to Sandakan and then to the little town. So you had 6 flights round trip.
Yeah, maybe a little bit more than that, but yeah, and the value I thought was was fantastic. Considering, did I mention the sharks?
So for me, completely, so mine was all inclusive as well. I believe it's 6 days, 5 nights. It might have been 7 days, 7 days, 6 nights. I don't remember. Anyway, it was all inclusive from Chiang Mai. It included 3 vegan meals a day. The food was unbelievable. Absolutely the most delicious food. And again, I couldn't take a lot of pictures of it. There are a few here that I took. Every meal was fresh, organic, full vegan food the entire week. Unbelievable food. The 2 meditations a day, 2 yogas a day, 2 events a day, and then housing. Again, we could choose either dorm style housing or private housing. I had a private room with a private bath with air conditioning and hot water as well. And I spent a little over $500 all in for the week, which from Chiang Mai. So I felt it was a fantastic, unbelievable week for me. I think you had a fantastic, unbelievable week for you as well.
I did, and I have to say it was amazing, but it was even more amazing coming back together again and being able to reconnect and share our experiences. And we're back together as a team.
Yay! And I think my one takeaway from all of it in relation to Steve and me is picking back up or maybe fine-tuning my listening skills. I really honor that people like to be listened to and heard, and I feel like I'm doing much better listening to you and making you feel like you're heard. Don't say what. So just a really wonderful time. So that is kind of our separate vacations in a nutshell. Are you a full-time traveler and have you taken separate vacations? Or if you're living your nomad life, are you having some of these grieving moments or some of these super accomplishing moments? Or if you're about to be a nomad, are these some of the things you're thinking about planning for, or maybe thinking you need to replan and include some of these things in your travel? Ask us questions below, make comments below. If you're new here, we're Chris and Steve. We share our nomad life with you. Please subscribe and give us a like. And share this video with all your friends about how honest we've been. And we'll talk to you next week about our fabulous time in Thailand. See you then.
Adios.